They escorted her off the carrier without a word. Then a nuclear submarine broke protocol for her. The boots on the deck came without warning. They didn't ask. They didn't explain. They simply approached her where she stood by the railing of the carrier, her hands resting on the cold metal, her eyes fixed on the endless gray sea. When she turned, they were already flanking her. Silent, unyielding, motioning for her to come. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Hale did not resist. She only offered a small nod, tucked the folded flag tighter under her arm, and allowed herself to be led across the deck like a shadow being erased. The sailors who passed by looked away. Some lowered their gaze to their boots. Others pretended not to see. Not a single word was spoken. Not a single hand lifted in her defense. On a vessel that prided itself on brotherhood, she now walked alone, her honor stripped not by enemies, but by the very system she once bled for. She was being removed. Quietly, efficiently, as though her presence was an inconvenience. Sarah had been the first woman to command a flight deck on a nuclear carrier. She had survived storms, fire drills, and 2 overseas deployments. But it wasn't a misstep in leadership that had led her here. It was a choice, a human choice, to stand beside a grieving sailor, disobeying a written order that no longer made sense when faced with raw loss. She had broken protocol for compassion, and in a world bound by cold procedure, compassion had no place. Now, they were erasing her. Silently, as she walked past the crew, the salt in the air clung to her skin, but it wasn't the sea she tasted. It was the bitter residue of betrayal. Her shoulders, once squared by duty, now bore the weight of quiet disgrace. The folded flag pressed against her ribs, its creases sharp, its fabric damp from the spray. It had belonged to her brother, lost in waters not far from here. A brother whose name was etched in steel on the memorial wall of the very ship that was now discarding her. Her superiors had ordered her removal without ceremony. No farewell, no salute. They wanted her gone before the next watch. She kept walking, her boots clicking in time with the heartbeat. She refused to surrender. Sarah had always known the Navy was built on silence. Silence in pain, silence in grief, silence when the rules broke good people. But she had never expected that silence to surround her like this. Cold, indifferent, final, the shore was waiting. An empty dock. No family. No flag officers. Just the quiet shuffle of paperwork waiting to pronounce her forgotten. But as her foot left the steel of the carrier and touched the solid wood of the dock, something in the distance stirred. That a low rumble split the calm. The ocean parted as a dark shadow surfaced, its tower rising like a sentinel from the deep. A nuclear submarine. Out of position, off schedule, against every rule. It surfaced just offshore, its crew spilling out in silent formation along the deck. Sarah froze, her breath caught in her throat. She knew that boat, knew its captain. A single figure stepped forward, raising his hand in a slow, deliberate salute that cut through the stillness like a blade. One by one, the sailors behind him followed, their salutes held firm, their silence louder than any cheer. They had broken protocol for her, because some rules deserved to be broken. Because silent honor does not need permission. Sarah's hand trembled as she returned the salute, the weight of her folded flag pressing into her chest like a heartbeat that would not die. A young sailor nearby whispered, not daring to lift his head, "That's what real command looks like." Another, his voice barely audible, added, "They tried to silence her. Instead, they made her legend." Sarah's legacy would not be a ceremony denied, nor an order disputed. It would be this moment, the silent surfacing of those who still remembered what loyalty truly meant. Sometimes, Sarah would later reflect, the loudest salute is the one no one dares to speak. And as the submarine slowly submerged, disappearing into the deep, the carrier behind her felt smaller, emptier, as though the weight of its own silence had finally crushed it. Sarah walked away, head high, the folded flag steady against her ribs, carrying with her the one truth the sea could never drown. Honor does not need permission. It only needs the courage to stand in silence. Backhand index pointing right. Where are you watching from? I would love to hear your thoughts about this story in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories of silent heroes who changed the world without saying a word.